Oh, man, oh, double. Oh my God. Look at that. Had one on that one and looked over, this one's got one. Henry David Thoreau said, many men go fishing all of their lives without knowing that it is not the fish they are after. Look at the size of that thing! I'm Denis Isbister. For me, fishing has been a part of my whole life. From the time I could walk, I've been chasing fish and whatever adventures seem to follow it.
I'm Drew Murin, and since I was a little kid, my dad and I have fished all over the western United States together. And all I've wanted to do ever since was travel the world, have a little fun, and fish with my good friend Denis.
You see that, baby? So follow along with us as we travel the remote regions of the globe
In search of wild fish,
and wild places. There he is. This episode of Wild Fish, Wild Places is all about one species of fish. And this species of fish, I always talk about being a lot like the muskie, the fish of 1,000 casts. Going after these fish, it's just, you always got your work cut out for you, let's put it that way. That fish for me is the wiper. This is a striped bass and a white bass hybrid. It's a sterile hybrid mix. And out west, they put these fish into these reservoirs to manage bait fish populations. So we've got an abundance of tui chub or an abundance of carp in this situation. They put the wipers in the reservoirs because they're eating machines. They don't spawn, all they do is eat, and that helps the bait fish. We're taking a little trip out to Elko, Nevada, one of my favorite places, South Fork Reservoir. My really good friend, Austin Lindsay, last year got on a wiper bite that was one of the most consistent that I've ever heard of. Big topwater baits. So we're gonna head out there and try to hook up with him. It's May, let's see what happens. When you come around that corner, there's a line of reeds over here somewhere that you can see. They were just fishing the edge of those reeds.
It's pretty shallow.
Is it?
The water's pretty
Side
deep.
scan's like completely worthless, so I guess it's only 30 feet. I'm gonna do more casts and go look at that other spot.
Yeah.
The tough thing about the wiper is they move a lot. The pattern is there one day and then they'll never do the same thing again. Makes these fish so hard to figure out. Which also makes them very fun in my opinion, but what Austin has figured out here at South Fork, it's a pretty consistent deal. So we're hoping to stay there out at South Fork. We got 3 days and we're hoping to get one big wiper to the camera. These fish, these big wipers, they actually will swirl underneath that big bait. 1 or 2 times before they actually try to get it. They swirl on it, try to confuse it, and you gotta keep your focus and keep moving that bait across the top, and they'll come back and eat it. We get out in the water super early. One thing I know about these wipers is they really like the low light conditions. So we get on the water early, and he shows me what topwater baits we're gonna be using. We pull out a topwater bait that's about that big. So Austin and I just go to fishing right away. We're throwing these big punkers, they're up on top, and immediately he gets a chase.
See that big old swirl?
Yeah. Oh!
He's right there, right behind it. I'm gonna run out of room. He's right under it.
Is he?
He's right there.
Right away, Austin's on a fish, and nothing. So we're staying with this topwater bite. You know, we're here, we're in it for the long haul. We're looking for that one fish. Just working these big old walk the dog action baits across the top out here hunting for wipers, and caught a big old smallie. Looks like it's pregnant.
Probably is. Spawn's probably all jacked up right now.
So we're throwing these topwater baits and throwing these topwater baits, and I catch a fish. Although it's a smallmouth, not what we're after. You know what? Hey, it's good to get a little action on top anyway. Welcome to one of my favorite places to fish of all times. Insert the blank. So I'm gonna keep it a secret. Nobody will know where we're at, huh, Austin? We're out here in Elko, Nevada, and last year, my friend Austin, who you've seen on the show a few times, figured out the wiper bite. And now they haven't been planting wipers here for about 3 or 4 years, and so there's not a lot of them, but the ones that are here are giant. We've been working these things for some different areas for about 3 or 4 hours now. Just had a big smallmouth blow up, caught a nice smallie, and we're just gonna fish, probably fish all day, just for that 1, maybe 2 bites. So be patient.
Or our arms fall off.
Till our arms fall off. Had some serious challenges with weather the last few weeks, to say the least. Coming up here, we knew we were going to have maybe a day and a half is what we're hoping for. As you can see, it broke loose here this morning. Super foggy, cold, bundled up, and now it's just the sun's coming out, everything's breaking up. This is what we want. Early spring, we want these things in. We want to be able to see. You know, we want the sunlight. We want it to warm up so they move in here and start feeding. So we're getting everything we want. We're building up to what we hope is going to be the right day. And we got to make the most of it, because it's supposed to get nasty again. Ooh! Spent the better part of the day chasing wipers, top water, and had one blow up, a couple more chases, and that was it. So we decided to go rainbow trout fishing. See, the weather's kind of been rolling in and out. We got getting shocked. We caught a bunch of fish, but it got kind of dangerous with the lightning, so we left, put the boat back on, and now we're getting back after it, nice and calm. Still kind of threatening skies, but it seems at least safe. And we're throwing Tasmanian devil lures out here. We're trolling them in about 10 feet of water, about 2.5 miles an hour, and it's doing the trick big time. A couple different colors out there. A couple of them, they seem to be working up the same too.
Into that? Oh yeah.
Oh God damn it! Lost him. Oh, I keep losing him.
Oh, he's taking drag.
Yeah, I'll throw it neutral.
He's seriously taking drag. Look at that.
Still got him?
Got him.
Good one?
Feel like it. Still taking drag.
Taking drag.
Yeah,
He's not even, that's not even in yet. Yeah! That big old fish. That's a big rainbow, man. So Lawson and I are playing around with the trout for a little bit, get our spirits up, and he's dropping it back and I'm dropping it back, and it's as fast as we can get those tazes in water. I mean, it's happening. It's happening. I mean, we're big, beautiful trout. The trout fishing was epic. People will think we're kind of crazy to go back to wiper fishing, but that's exactly what we're gonna do. Now, one thing I know about these wipers is they're somewhat nocturnal. They love the dark, they love the low light conditions, and I have had some pretty good success fishing them at night. And I just wanted to go work that area in the dark to see if we could surprise some of these things. The thing about night fishing is you can't see anything. You can't see it, obviously, so you gotta throw it a little bit shorter and you gotta listen and hear that thing. It's all feel at that point, and you gotta hear those fish. And you know what? We're just gonna put this thing to work all the way until the sun comes up. Something grabbed it, dude. Yeah, something fouled it. Look at it. Huh. Sun's coming up. Still nothing. My camera guy thinks I'm crazy. I'm actually starting to buy into it too. And nothing is happening. I mean, we fished those things for 6 hours, about 2.5 hours in the dark, and the rest of the time, sunrise and low light, and it's just not happening. Yeah. That's a big old rainbow. just a big old rainbow. Yeah. These fish are starting to eat. They're done with their fall spawning or whatever. They're starting to eat everything in sight. So we started out this morning, low light conditions. I know they're eating a lot of snails and stuff in this lake. So I went with a brown trout pattern, 7-gram brown trout pattern, just to start off the morning. Threw it out there, and I'm holding onto the rod right now. Got the drag set fairly loose because these fish are hitting it so hard. If the drag's tight, they actually pull the hook out of their mouth. So I'm holding on the rod. I got the drag set a little bit loose, and we're just trolling along at about 2 miles an hour. Oh, doesn't take long. These fish are eating. Rad. Oh, so cool. Nice. That thing is fat.
Oh, dude, look at the size of that thing.
So my home lake of Lahontan Reservoir here in Fallon, Nevada, big wipers are grown here. They started planting them a long time ago. I said, you know what? We got to give this a couple more shots. We got to try to get one of these big fish. I know they're gonna eat topwater. I have a good idea where they're hanging out at Lahontan. Let's try to put this thing together. Wipers have been on my hit list for a long time, and they are one of the hardest fish to catch, in my opinion. They're like a muskie, you know, out Midwest. You got to work hard for them. So we've been getting up really early, getting the boat on the water in the dark, and chasing these big wipers. We went out east this year, spent days trying to get them. We got one blow up on my buddy Austin, and that was it. The wiper's one of those fish that you have to work days and days and days to get that one fish. So here we are.
They're a big predator, so a lot of times we'll use them just for forage-based control or carp control or something like that, and a lot of times we just use them for sport fishing. You know, the average Joe would come out here and maybe catch a decent fish every once in a while, but these bigger fish were few and far between. But they were big. You know, they're hard to catch. It takes a lot of effort, a whole lot of effort, and a lot of time to figure out how to get in on these fish.
The one pattern we have put together is first light until 8 o'clock. That's the only time we're getting bit, and it's in one spot. So we are spending every 3 hours of the morning we can get to try to film one of these fish. Day 4, we're out here chasing wipers. We got great conditions this morning, nice and calm. Sunlight's good. Now I just gotta do some work. we get to another spot where there's good cover and I've had some action before. Boom, it happens. This thing blows up and it's on, and it's a big fish, and it's taking line, fighting like crazy.
Oh, dude, look at the size of that thing.
It is the biggest wiper of my life and one of the top 5 fish I've ever caught. They were just so hard to catch. Those fish are just so difficult to target. And we stuck with it, put the pattern together, and finally got one of these monsters to the boat.
Oh. Yeah, baby, look at that.
What a fish. To work that hard and put that much time in for one fish. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, this show is gonna be about that one fish. The mule deer, if you will, the 30-inch buck. And we stuck it out and finally got the fish that we were after for a month chasing these fish, an 18-pound wiper.